The Hayduke Trail is roughly 800 to 850 miles long, depending on which alternates you take and which routes you take through these mazes of canyons. And as the trail goes, today we are hitting the halfway mark, a little over 400 miles in. Though there won't really be too much time for celebration, as along this route, there's really not that much time to relax. You always have to be on and looking at the next section and preparing yourself mentally for whatever is to come.
So down in that crevice is a slot canyon, just right underneath us. Pretty cool to kind of walk on top of one of them.
And sometimes I think on other trails, it feels like halfway done is this big monument. This time to rejoice that there's just halfway left to go. Whereas at least for me, on the Hayduke, halfway almost feels a little bit more somber.
We just came from Death Ridge.
Wow, Death Ridge. Huh. It's almost like I want this route to keep going on forever. I don't really want to think about the progress that we've made, but instead I just want to keep doing this every day. I want to keep coming up to these challenges and overcoming them. I want to keep researching and planning and preparing. I want to keep hiking and exploring these areas. Still, halfway is a big monument. There's a lot we've had to do to get to this point so far, and it feels like even more that is yet to come. We still have Bryce Canyon, the Grand Canyon, and Zion National Park ahead of us, along with everything that is in between. Right around this halfway mark, we actually picked up our third food cache. Food and water that we had left out here in the desert almost 2 months ago at this point, to be picked up later on as we walked through. So it is now May 5th. We're at 6,000 feet of elevation, and we're getting snowed on. May 5th in Utah. It's cold. So for me, even more exciting than halfway is what we get to do today, tomorrow, the next day, the next week, and over the course of the next month. What is your weather report?
It's snowing, and my fingers are too cold to eat my dinner.
What are you gonna do about that? Dinner's gotta be eaten some way.
Yeah, it's a predicament.
Quite the predicament.
I don't know.
Huh.
Maybe I'll go into my quilt and eat in there.
In a cave. That's a good strategy. I can get behind that. Just about right now, actually, we get to enter one of the coolest slot canyons along this entire trail. It has an extremely tricky entrance involving a very difficult descent down into the slot, and then a lot of challenges throughout that canyon as well. The funny thing about these is someone could watch these videos, someone could read about this canyon, but next year, this slot canyon may be different. Due to big floods and storms, all of these obstacles can change from year to year, as new boulders are washed away and different ones are washed into their place. So it's kind of fun that this route is ever evolving from year to year. The Hayduke that you might do is different from the Hayduke that I am doing, at least in regards to micro-navigation. And I think this slot canyon we're about to enter is the perfect example of this. Okay, how's that feel? You want me to hold it down?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, almost down a little. Okay, a little bit left. Do you feel good?
What now?
You should be able to stand on that left foot. Move it over a little bit more left. Okay, cool. You're done. Uh-huh.
I'm gonna rest for a moment.
Okay.
I am nervous.
But I like to keep my left foot like in that crack. And so maybe move your left foot down a little bit. Keep pressure and then just slowly move your back down. It's gonna hurt the back, may even rip the shirt.
Can't do anything about this weird angle?
Nope, unfortunately nope.
What about when I can't use my hands anymore?
If anything, I would just slide into the angle. You know, maybe move your right foot down a little. I got you. Okay, doing great. Move your right foot down more. Okay, keep sliding your back. I got you. Does it hurt?
Not too bad.
Okay.
And now?
Back further down. Maybe right foot out here. Okay, right foot further. Okay. And just keep working down. Like you're less than a meter from the ground now. Wow, did it.
Biggest wedgie in the world. Did you see my wedgie?
Yeah, I saw it. Wow, you did it. Wow. Wow, flat ground. How's it feel?
Weird.
Weird.
Didn't like it.
Okay.
It was hard.
About a month and a half ago, when we were driving around Utah, placing our food caches and our water caches around this trail, wound up only doing 4 of those, but when we were in this location, near Grosvenor Arch, placing our 3rd cache, we actually ran into a Hayduke hiker. This was a month and a half ago, and they were halfway done already. This hiker at the time seemed extremely concerned for us, and how late we were starting, and how late we would be out here. Which, at the moment, seems kind of funny to me, given that it snowed last night, and honestly, looking at the forecast, it kind of looks like it's gonna snow again a few more times in the coming week. It's wild for me to think about how much snow that hiker had to walk through, the different routes they had to take because of weather considerations versus the routes we are taking, whether that's in the first half or the second half. I know certain parts of this trail are only accessible during certain times of the year, so certain sections we have to skip, they might have been able to do. And other sections they have to skip, we will be able to do. But now that we are halfway through, and now that we are in the same location as that one hiker we ran into almost 2 months ago, I hope they're not right. I hope that the second half of the trail for us isn't filled with days and days and weeks of temperatures over 100 degrees. But even if they are, I think that's just the way this place goes. I think that's just the way the desert goes. If you're gonna spend months out here, living out of a backpack, I think regardless of when you start, you're gonna run into some very uncomfortable conditions. A lot of this trail being above 5,000, 6,000, or 7,000 feet. And you're gonna run into a lot of snow if you start early. If you start a little later, you're gonna run into a lot of swollen rivers and streams and sections that are entirely impassable. And if you choose to start late, or if you have to start late, then, much like we probably will be, you're probably gonna run into some very hot temperatures at some point or another. But maybe more sections will be open and accessible to you because of that. I think this trail is pretty unique, and that comes in so many different ways. But in one big way, it's just that it's not figured out. I can go out and do the Pacific Crest Trail, and there's tens of thousands of people that have done it before me that I can learn from. The Hayduke just doesn't have that. Good technique. When is the perfect time to start? Who knows? What are all the perfect routes to take? The most scenic, the most beautiful, the most interesting? Who knows? It really is figuring it out as you go out here. Doing your best to prepare for just about whatever. And then dealing with things as they come. Another cool aspect about this hike is the crowdsourcing of information. People, year after year, decade after decade, trying to figure this trail out. Collecting data and information, experiences, putting it all together, and seeing if the next person can build on what the last person had done. This trail will never, ever, ever, ever be easy, but it's cool that so many people have made an effort to add to that body of information out there about this. To not remove the challenge of this trail, but to add enjoyment to this trail. So for now, we are halfway done. And for now, we will make our way to the Pariah River, which will lead us straight into Bryce Canyon National Park. After that, we will head directly south and enter Grand Canyon National Park. It's crazy to think this, but the hardest has yet to come.